So we are going to be looking at a scenario where the purple Romans from Adizz Pro's Wixo series come to the modern world. And if you don't know what, or where this thing is, well, it's in Italy if you cannot tell. And they're pretty much the Roman Empire. When they first became a country, they resided over in Anatolia, then moved over to Greece and, up the Italian peninsula, then got kicked out of the Italian peninsula, and now they just restored their whole empire. These guys are a communist country, so yeah. So we could very well see the purple team working together with Russia or even China. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the scenario. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more content like this. And let's get into the scenario. So the purple team is here, and they're big. Like I said, they are the Romans, they are the Romans of Adizz Pro's series. They even once stretched all the way over to the Atlantic. But the first country we see them declaring war upon is going to be the rest of Switzerland. Roman troops are immediately going to absolutely fly into this country, and it's just over for Switzerland. And in the peace treaty, we see full annexation by the Romans. The next country we see them declaring war upon is actually going to be Albania, and this is because, they want the whole Adriatic Sea to themselves. We also see the last little bits of Kosovo join in on this war. Who knows how much they'll do. But Roman troops are immediately going to absolutely just destroy the Albanians, moving down the whole country and just wiping it out very quickly. The Romans are also going to mobilize into Kosovo, and, surprising. In the peace treaty, both Kosovo and Albania both get fully annexed into the Roman Empire, or just Rome. And no, it's not the same Rome as in our timeline that surrounded the whole Mediterranean Sea. The purple Romans. And next we just see them, the Romans declare war on Serbia, and this is because, their armies are already down here, and, they just want to clean up their borders. So, yet again, Roman troops are going to actually just completely destroy the Serbians. Serbians lost quite a bit of population into these areas, and, it is going to be slower than the other two battles they had to fight, and it's going to get about stopped here, and an actual little pushback by the Serbs is going to happen. But in the north, it's going very well for the Romans, as we see them getting pushed down more and more, and then, I don't know where the Serbian capital is. I don't know my capitals very well, but they're going to surrender. And, full annexation from the Romans to the Serbs. And, they are now going to kind of finish up cleaning up their borders. And, not by that. They're declaring war on Austria. Austria, I don't even know if they have their mountains anymore. They very well could, but I'm pretty sure they don't. As we see the Romans absolutely destroy the Austrians. The Serbs put up more of a fight than the Austrians did. And, they just get destroyed. And yet again, full annexation occurs, and then, some other countries around them are going to start to form alliances to stop this whole Roman expansion. The first person to be making this alliance is going to be Germany. And, Czechia is going to go ahead and join up in this alliance, as well as the Netherlands, Ireland, Romania, and Spain. So we have a small alliance being formed, and, a small alliance being formed. This is mainly to cobalt the expansion of the Romans. But the Romans are going to do one better. They go ahead and align themselves with China. This is massive for the Romans because, second strongest country in the world helping out Rome. Which at this point I would say Rome is the 5th strongest country in the world. At this point, yeah. And, they aren't going to stop their whole expansionist stuff, because now China is directly sending them supplies. They are now going to go ahead and declare war on Hungary and Macedonia at the same time. So what they do, they focus a lot on Macedonia, actually, the one that they shouldn't be focusing as much on. But we see Roman troops start mobilizing into Macedonia. And, the Greeks are going to get a little mad about this, but they are going to try and be peaceful with the Romans for now. As all of North Macedonia falls. We see the Hungarians actually moving into the Roman territory, and this is going very well for the Romans. For the Hungarians, this is going very well until it doesn't, as well Roman troops arrive and start pushing back the Hungarians in a lot of these fronts all over. They aren't able to fully push back the Hungarians, but they are going to move into this territory over here. And this is crushing for the Hungarians because, well, they thought they fortified the area good, but it just ends up chopping their country in half. The red team is now going to also start invading into Hungary to try and save as much land as they can from the Romans. They do not like the Romans, and it's kind of bad. The Romans then fully push back against the Hungarians. And pretty much what we see happening is the red team getting all of this over here, and, well, the purple team getting this. And, well, in a peace treaty, they pretty much split Hungary, and, well, I forgot to color in Macedonia. But the Romans also fully annex Macedonia. After this, we actually also see Bulgaria allying with the Romans, which is surprising. You might think that they'd want to get their old Bulgarian lands back, but the purple team doesn't really have invasions over here. They more want to connect up with the Atlantic. And, well, there's a big French country in the way of that. But they can't really do that because France just joined up with the red team. Who else just joined up with the red team? Belarus and Luxembourg. I'm not Belarus, Belgium. And, well, the Romans are going to get an ally inside of the United Kingdom, so that's always good. But that's not it. They also get Russia. And now the red team is actually pooping their pants, with the Romans almost being completely blocked from going up anywhere. Well, I guess they can go through Slovakia, but they can't really go anywhere else inside of Europe. So they're going to go ahead and go down into Tunisia. The Romans are going to make a landing over here and take Tunis very quickly. They are going to keep making small naval landings along the shoreline of Tunisia. They then finally connect up all of these whole little, I guess, I don't even know what to call them. They connect up all of their expeditions and, well, they just start going down from the north to the south. And, well, after a little bit, the remaining provinces inside of Tunisia are going to fold over to Italy. The Romans are going to fully annex Tunisia, and this is going to lead to some more countries joining up with this anti-Roman league. We actually see Egypt join up with this, as well as Ukraine and Moldova. And finally, Sweden is also going to join up with this whole alliance. Not to worry, though. There's still a few countries that they're going to invade. Mainly over here, they declare war on Greece, and, well, Greece instantly regrets not joining up with the Red Alliance. Roman troops are going to start pouring down into Greece, actually cutting off the country from their panhandle over here. We then see Bulgaria join in on the side of this war because they're in the same alliance as the Romans, and they're going to take all of this land, and then the Romans are going to go ahead and take the rest. The Bulgarians are then going to start helping out the Romans because they got all they wanted, and we see the Romans start going down the Greek coast. A naval landing is going to be made in Crete, taking the whole island. And then they use that naval landing over in Crete to make a landing down in the southern island of Greece. And, well, we see the Greeks fall back to about here, where they are protecting Athens with their life. We also see them lose this entire island here. A naval landing is made right here. And then, well, Greece is just taken over. The Bulgarians are going to go ahead and get all of this land, and they actually get a little bit extra from the Romans for helping out. And the rest is going to go over to the Romans. We yet again see a few more countries joining up with the red team. This time, these countries being Slovakia, Estonia, if I can color it all in, Georgia, as well as Cyprus. The Romans are now completely cut off from going anywhere into Europe, and, well, if they want to go anywhere, they'd have to go after Turkey if they want any more European parts. But I think they are going to chill out for now, at least inside of Europe. Because over in the Middle East, the Romans kind of want to set up a trade colony, so they declare war on, well, all of Israel, Lebanon, and Palestine. And, well, the troops go in to Lebanon first, moving down, and, well, taking the whole country very quickly. They then move from, well, they make a landing inside of Israel, cutting it off, well, cutting the southern part off from the rest of it. And then they just move in from the north and south, and, well, it's all over. And, well, what they're going to do with this area over here, they're going to turn it into a puppet state, and, well, that's that. After the Romans do that, this is going to persuade Jordan and Syria, both countries that are very unlikely. Actually, I don't know about Syria because they got that new government stuff, but these two both join the red team. And, well, Turkey has been deciding whether to join the red team or the blue team. And, well, they have decided to join up with the purple team. And, well, this is big for the purple team because, well, they get Turkey. I think it's like the 9th strongest country. Since Turkey joined, Azerbaijan is also going to join up with the purple, as well as Belarus. Finally, North Korea is also going to join up as well. I was going to put Vietnam, but I don't think they would. Iran. Just kidding, not Iran, because Turkey already joined, so Iran is not going to join. But now, the Romans are going to say, well, you guys ready? Because, screw it. The Romans will arm all of their borders, and then they full send on the red team, and, well, just on the whole border of the red team, moving in, mainly focusing on western areas over here, moving in, and, well, they focus a lot of their troops on Germany because that was the first one. So they're focusing a lot on Germany like this, but they also move into these Romanian areas like this, and, well, they get pretty far into Romania. The only spot they aren't going to be able to move into is from Czechia and Slovakia. These guys actually are moving in. But, well, the whole purple team is also going to join in on this war. And, well, Bulgarian troops are going to start entering into Romania, cutting off their access from the Black Sea. The Romans are going to work to cut off Spain and France. They also begin, well, focusing in a lot on France, moving up these areas because they always wanted to connect up with the Atlantic Sea, but France, since they joined the Red Alliance, they couldn't, and, well, they're getting very far. They actually capture Brittany, which is terrible for the French, and, well, it's not going good for them. The Romans are going to use this area over in Romania to start an invasion into Slovakia, and this is going to lead to Slovakia pulling troops off, and, well, a pushback over here, which, yeah, smart move by the Romans. In other areas like Georgia, they completely get demolished by the purple team. Cyprus gets eaten by Turkey. And, well, Turkish troops are going to start flooding into Syria, connecting up with the puppet state of the Italians. Not the Italians, the Romans. And, well, it's not going good for Syria. They do not have a good enough army for this right now. All of their northern areas are going to fall over to Turkey, and they're going to keep going. They're just too strong. The Turkish are too strong for the Syrians. Egypt and Jordan are going to work together to push against the Romans' puppet state, moving up into these areas where they meet the Turkish. China and North Korea are now sending their troops over here, which is very good for just Europe. Ireland is going to get absolutely destroyed by Britain. And, well, yeah, they just get absolutely demolished by Britain. Britain is then going to cross the English Channel and, well, start mobilizing against France. And, well, at this point, France is going to go ahead and surrender over to Rome and Great Britain, so that way they can hopefully remain a sovereign nation. With this, the Romans are going to say, we're going to focus on Germany, you go down and deal with Spain. So that is what the English do, making a landing over in northern Spain and start cutting off these areas over here. They actually try to persuade Portugal to join up in this war, but the Portuguese are going to refuse, saying they don't want to be involved in this. But also up over here, we see the Romans still pushing into the German areas, eventually taking over all of Luxembourg and Belgium, before pushing into the Netherlands and trying to wipe out the Dutch from existence. They also begin focusing a lot more on the Germans, and, well, they start forming a spearhead to go and take Berlin, but it's going to get actually destroyed by the German barbarians, and, well, it's just not going good for the Romans, at least up in Germany. The Czechs are actually going to continue to push down into Roman territory, and this is seen as a shocker for the Roman people. Like, why aren't you fortifying this front line over here? They're going to have to actually pull troops off to go and deal with Bohemia or whatever it is, or just Czechia. And this is going to actually lead to a massive pushback by the Romanians. And, well, the Romanians are also going to even push into Roman territory. And this The Romans are now realizing that having this much territory may not be the best thing for just in all, because they are getting absolutely destroyed by the Romanians, and well, they just lost a lot of their gains over here. Bulgaria is doing pretty good though, as they continue to push into Romania, and well, they even start pushing a little bit into Moldova and Ukraine, which now we need to look at Ukraine. Ukraine, I wasn't talking about it, but they have folded over to Russia and Belarus, as well as Estonia. These guys are gone too. But over in Germany, we see Swedish troops arriving, and this is going to lead to a pretty big pushback by the Germans and the Swedish, which is going to get pretty far. And, well, it almost pushes the Romans entirely out of Germany. They're also going to push back over here. The Dutch and, well, Belgium and Luxembourg are going to be re-liberated. And, well, France is going to rejoin this war. And, well, so we need to just carve this back into existence. The Romanians are actually also going to push into Ukraine, starting to re-liberate Ukraine as well from Moldova. But the Russians aren't really focused on Romania. They're more focused on, well, just, I don't know. I guess they are focused down here. And well, now the English are getting pushed back really badly by the Spanish, and all of their gains that they made over inside of Spain are now completely gone, and well, this is not going good for the Romans. Especially now it's not, because they are now being absolutely cooked by the Spanish, moving into their territory rather quickly. The Spanish are going to completely kick out the purple team from their territory, and then also begin advancing into French territory, and well, France, they're going to form a spearhead to go and connect up with the Spanish, and this is actually going to be successful, cutting off Roman troops that were over here inside of Brittany. The Romans are going to try and flee over to England, but it's not going good for them as they can't swim, and well, all these areas that they just got are wiped away. The Spanish are then going to continue pushing up into these Roman areas, and well, all of these areas that used to be a part of France are going to fall over to Spanish hands. And well, all of these areas right here are now going to fall over to France, and well, a big pushback happens, and well, yeah, it's not going good for the Romans, I'd say. Gets even worse when Tunisia rebels away from the Romans. Oh wait, Greece is also rebelling away from the Romans. And now there's a new front line over in southern Rome, and well, the Greeks are going to start pushing up these Roman areas, connecting up with the Romanians, and well, a big sweep of the Balkan area is going to happen. Romania is going to start a small push into, well, these areas that Bulgaria took from them, recapturing their coastline to the Black Sea. And, well, after all this happens, Bulgaria is going to surrender. Well, they're more just going to leave the war. Pretty much all the other Purple Alliance members are going to leave the war, including Britain, Turkey, Russia, and China. So now it's pretty much just Rome as their puppet state falls over to, I guess, Egypt. And, well, Bohemia is going to completely cut the Romans in half. All of these Balkan areas are then going to surrender over to the red team. A massive sweeping is going to be found, moving down the Italian peninsula, and Rome has been conquered. Let's go ahead and look at a peace treaty. First off, Tunisia is going to be released, just as Tunisia. The Greeks are actually going to get a lot of land. They're going to get all of this, which you'll see when I color it in. They get all of this, and, well, the Greeks are happy. They even get a little bit of Albania. Albania just decided to unite with Greece, and the reasons, we don't know. Turkey is going to lose Thrace, and, well, Bulgaria is going to lose their Aegean Sea coast. Spain is going to get all of their Catalonia lands that the Romans took from them when they just spawned into the world. They're also going to get their islands back. The French are going to also get all of their lands back, and I think even a little bit extra from what they had before the Romans spawned in. We see Germany getting all of their old territory, what a surprise, back from the Romans. So now they look like this. We see Austria actually getting all of this land, and this is pretty much just the reincarnated version of the Austrian Empire. They didn't feel like splitting all this stuff back into it, so they went ahead and united Austria, Hungary, and a little bit of Italy and, well, Slovenia all together to form the Austria, well, just bigger Austria. Switzerland is going to get this land, and I know it's not the right border, I don't care. This Balkan area over here is just going to be turned into Serbia and, I guess, Bosnia. So we pretty much just see, well, Serbia and Bosnia. Now let's look at the division of the Italian peninsula. So we have the Italian peninsula being split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new states. The first, we have the Kingdom of Two Sicilies coming back. We just see 3 little nations carved out of the old Italian territory. And if you watch my Wixo, you would know what this next country will be. We have the Northern Italians being a new country. Bulgaria is going to lose this southern land and then be let off with a warning. Same thing with Turkey. They just get let off with a warning after losing thrice. Cyprus is going to be sunk into the ocean. So that is never good for the Cypriots. We see Egypt getting all of this land, and yeah. And, well, I am not going to go over the rest of this peace treaty because it doesn't really matter. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode. I don't know what that was. I will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye. And here is the new end card for my videos. We have the member shout at the bottom, which includes Darklight, King Cheese, Gail Martinez, PJ Likes Cheto, Medlem, and Eddie. Make sure you go subscribe to all of them. They are all great channel members. At the top left, there's the sub goal of the year. I want 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but we obviously don't have to get that. Image of the day. Yeah, that's pretty weird. And then daily news. Seattle City Council member introduces resolution to acknowledge failure of the defund the police movement. I hope you guys have a good day, and, well, see you in the next episode, I guess. Goodbye.